mga corrupt like sila Luistro, mga corrupt na yan, si Percy Sandanya, they're bribed. No, and the whole focus of an entire country, of this entire government, is on that fucking impeachment, di ba?
To be frank, hindi ko nga rin, sabi ko, my God, the country is facing a lot of problem, pero ang buong gobyerno, itong Congress and even the Senate, yung attention nila nandun sa impeachment. Mundo, magandang umaga, magandang gabi at magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. At sana po ay subaybayan po natin ang programa na ito. Every now and then, nai-invite ako ni Doc Lorraine dito. So, nandito rin ako ngayon sa araw nito.
Okay, so Professor Ana, we'll jump right into one of your expertises. Sa dami ng sinabi kong credentials mo, hindi ko nasabi na economist ka din, di ba?
Hopefully, malapit na.
Malapit na. So, gusto ko lang tanungin, no, kasi malayo ito sa pag-iintindi ng ordinary Filipino, ano ang ibig sabihin? Kasi ang ating peso-dollar rate ngayon is the lowest in the history of the country. It's now 61.08. Well, as of 2 days ago, I don't know what it is now. Might be lower, no? Bakit ba tayo natatakot dito? What does it mean in real terms, Ana? Bakit yan ang pamantayan natin?
Actually, malaki ang ibig sabihin kung, like for example, in history, it's 61.70, roughly, if i-round off mo siya actually, and even in the black market, I think it's around 62 already. Pero ang official figure is around 61.7 or 61.5, roughly on that note, no? Ano bang ibig sabihin nito? Kasi pag ibig sabihin, yung ano natin, yung currency natin, yung peso, devaluated siya or weak. Very weak. Ang tanong kasi lagi dyan, kung weak ang peso, mataas ang dollar, mataas ang value ng dollar mo, ang dollar being the international currency, ano yung impact sa economy natin? One thing that you have to remember sa ating mga kababayan, the Philippines is an import-dependent country. Import-dependent tayo. We import a lot of products from the international market.
Ano question? Why are we like that? Kasi living here in Japan, no? Nakita ko kasi, yung mga tao dito, they're creators No, ang sinabi kasi ni yung nagsa-side question lang ako, no, kasi yan ang masama sa atin, hindi tayo nagka-create, hindi tayo gumagawa ng sarili nating mga pangangailangan natin. We're not very creative in that sense, di ba? So as a result of that, we're so dependent, lagi tayong bumibili sa labas ng di ba? Like for instance, mga kotse. Wala tayo noon, etc. Okay, Ana, so could you answer that? Why is that?
Before I go on dun sa impact ng weakened peso and a strong dollar against the peso, maganda yung tanong mo, bakit nga ba ang Pilipinas is import dependent on almost everything, especially basic goods. Like for example, basic good. Agricultural products were very import dependent. Oil were import dependent on energy related products, almost 100%. Bakit nga ba? Ang sa akin, okay, fine, yung oil na part or energy, I would say, okay, hindi tayo tulad ng Malaysia na they have oil reserve or oil is one of their industry na i-export nila. Fine. But on the agricultural side, like for example, we are supposed to be an agricultural country. Our economy, ang base niyan is agriculture. Pero since before until now, wala tayong tinatawag na matibay na tinatawag agricultural industry. Even rice we import, even kamatis ini-import, even fish ini-import. Bakit? It's precisely because the government, hindi lang naman itong government nito, even before, siguro, since 1986 until now, wala kang makitang really investment on agriculture na kung saan nagkakaroon ka ng tinatawag mong self-sufficiency or food sufficiency. Wala talaga. And also, ang mga palisiya natin, when you talk about not only an agricultural policy, hindi rin siya, alam mo, consistent. Every now and then, nagbabago-bago din.
Meron akong isang kwento kasi, nung panahon ni PRRD, during a cabinet meeting, nagalit si PRRD kasi yung tungkol sa land bank. Bakit ang land bank, sabi niya, ang dami ninyong pera, pero hindi niyo pinapautang sa mga farmers, di ba? Kasi yan ang mandato ninyo, farmers and fisher folk. So bakit hindi niyo ginagawa yan?
Correct.
So it started with PRRD, but it had to be continued.
Correct.
Diba? Okay.
Correct.
Game.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Yung sinasabi ko, ang persistent kasi ang problema na, like for example, inumpisahan sa panahon ni PRRD na okay,
Yeah.
priority natin yung mga farmers and workers. Ibigay mo sa kanila yung lupa, bigyan mo sila ng agricultural inputs, irrigation and all that, and in land bank you should provide this kind of financing to the farmers and the fisher folks. Pero kung titignan mo, ang pinapautang ng land bank, hindi naman fisher folks. So, mayayaman. So,
Yeah.
mayroon kang problema sa system mo. And it has also something to do with politics na mayroon tayo. Ang politika talaga ng Pilipinas, to be very frank with you,
Rotten.
is rotten to the core.
Yeah.
That's the basic problem we have in the country. And it impacts the economy in every possible way, and even it impacts kasi pag sinabi mo kasing politika, it basically refers to governance.
Yeah.
At ratin talaga tayo. So kung titignan mo ang Pilipinas, kung tatanungin mo ako, why is it that we don't have industries? Hindi tayo exporting countries eh. Yun ang problema natin eh. We don't export much. At saka ang ini-export natin ay yung mga halimbawa, I think itong mga chips na kung saan hindi naman tayo lang din ang nag-i-import na we monopolize that. Other countries in ASEAN have the similar export eh. Fruits export natin, hindi na rin na tayo competitive eh. Kasi other ASEAN countries doing it. Pero hindi kasi ako dun eh. Ang issue ko is more about why is it that we cannot produce our own goods for our own consumption, for us to be self-sufficient?
Wait. I'll say something that kasi yung you said on agriculture, di ba? So we don't even have the basic like food security. We don't have it. Kasi what I see here, the difference in the government of Japan is the amazing support that the farmers get from their government.
Correct.
Diba? So, but
Correct.
that didn't happen overnight.
No, it
Talagang,
didn't.
and even you see it in China, diba?
Oh yeah, in China,
Mga
there's
farmers
12%.
dito.
Oh, mayayaman dito yung mga
Mayayaman ang
farmers.
farmers dito, pati mga fishermen. So, tapos ngayon naririnig natin sa Department of Agriculture, yan, si Lisa Araneta, tsaka yung kapatid niya, mga smuggler, di ba? May mga ganyan naririnig natin and they're not responding to it, di ba? As if they don't owe us any explanations, di ba? So, go ahead, Anna. I'm sorry.
Yung smuggling is in agriculture. It's still part of governance. It's part of politics.
Yes.
Kasi corruption yan eh. So, at the end of the day, isa sa mga issue kung bakit halimbawa ang agricultural sector mo is lagging behind the rest of ASEAN and even of Asia, it's not just about policy. It's really all about issue of governance and corruption and issue of policy. Walang consistency. And on the other hand, tignan mo na lang, segue tayo ng konti before we proceed kung how weakened peso impact the economy. Yeah. Let us say land reform. Yeah, land reform. Saan ba napupunta ang mga lupa talaga? Okay, nagkaroon ka ng tinatawag mong land reform kuno. Tapos bigay mo dun sa farmer. Sino ba ang farmer hindi makaroon ng produce at hindi niya hindi niya magawang productive ang lupa niya kasi what? Kulang siya sa inputs, kulang sa finances, kulang sa capital, kulang sa marketing and all. So anong ginagawa ng mga maliliit na farmers? Binibenta sa mga mayayaman. Anong ginagawa ng mga mayayaman? Pinagtagpi-tagpi yung mga lupa na binenta nila, pinagtayuan nila ng condominiums at negosyo. That's really the case of the Philippines. So and this is an issue of governance, sister. Hindi siya lang issue of economy.
You know what? It's not even just governance, but I also see like here when I go to the groceries here, you're going to buy for instance, an apple or something. You're going to see in the yung sa balot, sa packaging nung andun yung mukha ng farmer.
Really?
Yung pangalan niya, kung saan siya it's not all over, but you see it. It's common, di ba? So sa madaling salita, yung appreciation for what they're doing and the supply chain is so complete. It's so complete talaga. Sa atin,
wala tayo nun.
Naawa ako talaga kasi yung pamaktol ba in Bisaya, it's pamaktol, nagpasakit lang sila ng katawan for what, 'di ba? There are no farm to market roads, tapos bit-bitin nila, babaratin sila, 'di ba? Ano ang laban nila? doon sa gulay na galing Vietnam na mura-mura tapos preskong-presko. Di ba kawawa talaga farmers natin? So in other words, trabaho ng gobyerno yun.
Yes, it's an issue of governance talaga. It's an issue of governance, it's an issue of politics. That's really true. And it's an issue of policy na follow through ng policy at hindi mo binabago-bago yung policy every time there is a change of government. Kasi nga, gusto ayaw mo lang ng previous administration or hindi
It's
mo
the
lang
form
sila
of
gusto.
government also. The system
Yes.
no longer works, di ba? We need to change our system.
Actually, yes. I would agree with you. For me, not maybe in this administration for constitutional change.
No.
But definitely, I would agree with you that there's a need for the Philippines to revisit the form of government and the system of the political
It no longer
system.
works. No, it no longer works.
At saka, I mean, it's a two-way thing though for me. The political system is not as effective as it should be and efficient. On the other hand, we also need to change the mindset of our kababayan and even ang mga politician na meron talaga tayo. I'm not kidding, sister. Talagang corrupt. Iilan lang ang hindi corrupt. Yun yung malaking problema ng Pilipinas din. Yun ang totoo talaga.
Pero sabihin ko sa iyo, nandiyan pa sa China, andito ako sa Japan. Ang nakikita kong pinakamalaking problema ay ang tao mismo. Kasi yung mga leaders natin, reflection naman natin yan eh. Tapos alam mo mga Pilipino mukhang pera. Syempre hindi ko nilalahat. Tingnan naman natin ngayon, di ba? Ang dali palang bilhin, no? Tsaka ang dami nila, pwede mong bilhin. Vloggers, media, lahat na. Kahit simbahan kasi Flavi, nabibili mo. Di ba lahat nabibili mo? Yung buong kongreso, nabibili mo. Eh dito, gawin mo yon. Hindi uubra yon. Because the Japanese, no, Japan is an honor-driven society. No, so even the ordinary, it really starts with the ordinary citizen. He cannot bribe. They will not cheat. They will not lie. They're very honest. They'll really earn your trust. You know, in my neighborhood, I know my grocers already, etc. I really trust them, and really, it's a society that you build together. Diba? So masakit man pakinggan at na kasulaso-lasok si Bangag. He is indeed a reflection of who we are as a people. I'm sorry to say that's the bad news.
I would agree. No, I would agree with you.
Thank you.
I would agree.
Right?
Kaya nga sinasabi ko, there is a problem with the political system. Yes, I would agree. But on the other hand, you also have the problem of the kind of mindset Filipino we have as a people, and at the same time the issue of discipline and values. Kasi alam mo, yung values talaga importante. Kung makikita mo ang issue ng corruption sa Pilipinas, sis, hindi lang yan issue ng malalaking politician. Even from the bottom going up, may corruption.
Yes.
Kasi ang nangyayari sa Pilipinas, ang corruption is like a normal thing.
Yes.
It's normalized already.
It's accepted already. Yun ang nakakatakot na nawala na yung
okay na.
At saka nawala na yung sense of outrage, di ba? So that Benny Abante can go into the slums, sa slum areas, driving a very expensive
car,
motorbike, pinagyayabang pa niya. And then the worst part about it is that he's admired. Nobody stones him. Nobody shouts at him. Gawin mo yan sa dito. Naku po, Maria Jose. Hindi talaga.
Mahirap.
And then, what I've seen also is that when I say that that Philippine society is money-driven and very corrupt, is that Filipinos are social climbers, mata pobre, pwede mong i-bribe. Diba? So, it's connected to money and honor. Diba dito, hindi talaga ka pwede they look down on people na mayabang. Hindi ganun, really.
And also, ang problema sa Pilipinas, when you talk about implementation of laws, compromise siya talaga. Kaya rin ang, alam mo, diba, very compromised. Like, for example, may nag-commit ng illegal na bagay, like corruption. Ang tagal, ang daming eche-bureche, alam mo yon, walang napaparusahan. Dito, to be frank with you, in China, kahit nag-retire ka na, kung napatunayan kang nagkaroon talaga ng, halimbawa, corrupt practices nung panahon na nasa posisyon ka, hahabulin ka nila. kahit na wala ka, kahit ano pang tanda mo, pero alam mo yon, kaya yung mga tao, they respect the law and they obey the law. Sa atin kasi, walang sense.
Ana, I have a story, short
Mm.
story.
Okay,
There
go.
was a principal, high school principal who was about to retire
Mm.
here in Japan, no? And then bumili siya ng coffee sa isang convenience store. Tapos, to make a long story short, dinaya niya ng a few yens, I think 3 or 4 or 5 yen. Ang liit-liit no? He
Oo.
got the bigger cup instead of the smaller cup kung ano yung binayad niya.
Mm.
And then, because of that, he lost his retirement, his pension. And then here's the thing though. Nobody complained. Everybody said, yeah. Majority said, dapat.
You see?
Dapat ganon.
But
Nobody's
no
surprised
justification.
because
Oh.
you are a high school principal. You're handling children. The
Children.
values, this is the way they value their children, yung paano natin palakihin ito, 'di ba?
Mm.
And makes me sad that our children, no, pinapasuot
Oh.
mo ng
Oh,
mga sexy outfits at spaghetti
Oh.
pababa, what the heck? You let them watch it bulaga, 'di ba? Hello, right?
They're so exposed to this kind of values and mindset and
Yeah.
things that are not good for them.
Yeah.
For the kids, it seems like ito yung tama when in fact hindi yun yung tama. Actually, yan ang fear ko kasi yung mga anak ko bata pa. So
Yeah,
it's also my fear, because they're exposed to the society that we have. So it's actually, to be honest with you, sister, malaki ang problema ng Pilipinas. Problema natin politika, but much more, I think, we have a problem of, yung ano natin, yung values natin, yung sense of honor natin, ang sense of discipline. Number one sa Pilipino talaga na problema is disiplina. Basic yun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying all. But what I'm saying is, let's be honest about these things. Kasi pag hindi natin accepted to at hindi tayo honest kung anong problema ng Pilipinas, we cannot change the country. And
Also, sister, no, Marcos, yung dinadaanan natin sa kanya, impyerno. But there are good things that he has given us. Look at us, we're talking about this. It's talagang soul-searching, no, what happened to our country. That we would have the worst of us lead us to hell. Diba? What happened? Diba?
Ang wish ko lang is sana naman may nagigising na. Kasi yun yung frustration ko. We know what's the problem. We know that we have a bad governance at the moment. We know that the president is not effective. We know na surrounded lahat ang image niya with a lot of questionable corruption allegations. Even his own health is in question. Even there's an allegation of him being a drug addict and all of these things. Pero hindi ko makita yung yung passion ng mga Pilipino as a whole to even clamor for a change just because of politics. Like for example, the other side of the politicals, like for example, the Dilawan, itong mga Pinklawan. I don't think they're stupid not to see it.
Yeah.
Just because they hate the Duterte, they cannot, I just cannot accept, like, you hate one politician and so you just, suck up with the current situation that we have. That's crazy. And then you destroy one politician just because you want to be in power and you're trying to orchestrate something na para sila naman ang mailagay sa power in a matter of time. So it's all about power. It's not all about the country. Yun talaga ang malinaw sa Pilipinas right now. Everything is just about contending and trying to have that space na sila ang susunod na uupo. It's because they want power. But I don't believe that they want something to change in the country or they want something substantial para mabago ang bansa at magkaroon ng magandang traction for better Philippines ang itong mga to. It's all about power, it's all about politics na minsan it's very frustrating, sister, na para bang sometimes iniisip ko, ano bang mangyayari sa Pilipinas talaga? Wala akong makitang space for a change na talagang genuine change ba among these players that we have in the country when you talk about politics. Really, I really don't have. Right now the VP is under so much pressure. Okay, let her handle it. I think she can handle it.
Persecution, you mean?
Persecution, as in the
Political
political persecution is too
persecution.
much. It's like above heaven, above the sky, you know. But I think she's strong enough to deal with it, and she has the
yeah.
backing naman
Yeah.
of many people. So I'm very confident she is okay with, and she can fight it out. But what I'm saying is, outside of it, if you look at the political dynamics in the country, everyone is just focused on politics and power. No one even thinks of what is happening in the country. Look, 61, almost 62 to a 61 or $62 to a peso is an alarming
That,
thing.
62 pesos to the dollar.
62. Sabihin na natin 62, round off
Yeah.
natin. Alarming yan, ha? Why? Kanina sinasabi ko, sis, import dependent ng Pilipinas on almost everything. You have an energy crisis. You need more dollars, you need more peso to import goods. And
Okay,
even to
so-
pay your debt, dahil nga malaki ang strong ang dollar against the peso. Ang
You
tanong
need
ko,
more
how do you
pesos.
sustain that?
Yeah, so
How
you
do you
need more
sustain that?
pesos to buy
To buy,
a
like, for
kilo
example,
of rice.
I-
Let's
I
say,
like in the international market or in importing a good. Isa lang ang pinag-uusapan natin. Ang ano pa lang yan, rice. How about the oil? How about kerosene? How about diesel? Kasi lahat ngayon mataas ang presyo sa international market dahil nga sa Iran at saka Middle East crisis na yan.
good. Hindi naman. Kasi dito wala. Wala.
Dito sa China, I don't even feel that there is such a thing as a Middle East crisis.
Kasi
to be
when the
frank.
Middle East thing happened, the spike in gas prices here was for just 2 days, and then it went back to pre-Middle East crisis, and it's been that way.
Dito,
But
wala kang
is it-
mararamdaman.
So why is it in the Philippines, bakit ganun yung price ng gas? Why? Could you explain to us? Would you know?
Hindi, kasi sa atin, ang Japan naman kasi they have reserve. Ang reserve ng Japan is that buffers them. And also, I think there is a buffer. I think ang ginagawa ng Japan, they buffer the price increase para hindi maramdaman ng mga
Yeah,
consumers.
yeah, yung
So they
gobyerno
buffer
nga.
it. So ibig sabihin, the government is coming in.
Yeah.
Coming in.
But
doing
here kasi-
the job. But sa Pilipinas, walang ganun.
Because Marcos stole so much, but he doesn't want to give that money back, di ba?
Oh, wala
He doesn't want
talaga.
to give it to the Filipino people.
At saka
Kailangan
walang
tablamin
buffer.
niya.
Imagine mo, excise tax on oil and energy-related products. Ang suggestion sa kanya is to suspend that until the crisis in the Middle East subside. Anong ginawa niya? Hindi niya sinuspend ito kasi sabi ni Recto, ang sabi ni Recto, mawawala ng malaking revenue ang government kapag inano mo yung excise tax. Sabi ko, saan ba napupunta ang revenue ng government? Nasa corruption yun eh. Imagine mo, 50% of our, first quarter of our budget, ang expenditure natin napunta sa debt servicing. So, ibig sabihin, malaki yung utang natin, plus almost 50% of our expenditure napunta sa debt servicing, malaki yung utang natin. Ang tanong mo, saan napunta yung utang? Na hindi mo nga na kailangan mo pa ng excise tax na hindi masuspend kasi kailangan mo ng revenue. Na samantalang utang ka ng utang to finance your economy. Now, ang tanong, why is it that you cannot even still make your economy stable? Na hindi mafe-feel ng mga mamayang Pilipino yung halimbawa pagtaas ng oil prices sa market, sa domestic market, because tumaas sa international market. Kung sinasabi mo na, alam mo yon na you have a lot, you have this amount of debt, saan napupunta yon? 'Di ba? And on the other hand, kailangan yung simpleng policy na suspension of excise tax, hindi magawa ni Marcos Jr. kasi daw mawawala ng revenue ang kanyang gobyerno. Okay,
Nasaan napupunta? Saan
So, ang tanong ko
napupunta
nga
yung
doon,
revenue?
so, nasaan nga yung revenue mo when in fact, may issue ka ng food security, still, at then, ang oil price increase mo andyan pa rin, mataas ang inflation mo and all, so nasaan yung mga perang yun?
Alam ko na kung saan.
Nasaan yun?
Sa impeachment. Doon na
yun.
I'm serious.
Alam ko.
They bribed
Marami na ako
itong mga
naririnig.
corrupt like sila Luistro, mga corrupt
Oo.
na yan, si Percy Sendanya. They're bribed. No, and the whole focus of an entire country, of this entire government, is on that fucking impeachment, di ba?
To be frank, yeah. Hindi ko nga rin, sabi ko, my God, the country is facing a lot of problem. Pero ang buong gobyerno, itong Congress and even the Senate, yung attention nila nandun sa impeachment.
Sis, alam mo,
Sabi ko,
ngayon ko lang,
ganito ba talaga ang Pilipinas?
Tsaka nagsanib puwersa kasi nung panahon ni CJ Corona, ang nag-impeach sa kanya, 'di ba? Pina-impeach siya ni Pinoy, 'di ba? Dahil sa Hacienda Luisita ruling, yung very principled stand ni CJ Corona. Tapos ang operators niya, si Heidi Mendoza, Ronald Llamas, Risa Ontiveros, Kiko Pangilinan, yung CPP sila Teddy Casino, lahat 'yan Tapos kaya na 'yon, ganun na naman ang ginagawa nila. Ganun ang ginagawa nila sa totoong mga lingkod bayan, 'di ba? So, nagsanib puwersa sila, pero ngayon it's worse because nagsanib puwersa ang mga dilaw, mga pink, mga CPP, si Marcos, ito mga bangag, pati mga oligarchy, mga against, so the real enemies of the people. And we're seeing again rotten politics of the dilaw rotten politics, inuulit nila, di ba?
At saka combine na with the rest of this, the left, and even the oligarchs.
Yes, most definitely. They're just so smart. They're way smarter than bangag because they're quiet, 'di ba? They're invisible. They try to be invisible, 'di ba? But really they're the ones. They're the ones. Sila yan.
Andun sila. So, to be, sa akin, parang ganito ba talaga ang Pilipinas? That's a big question at the moment for me. Na parang bang, wala na ba tayong pwedeng pag-uusapan? Kasi every time I open my Facebook or I open the, like for example, yung links to news, like Manila Times, Manila Standard, Inquirer, lahat na lang ino-open ko, ibig kahit na mga minsan, lahat ang nakikita ko, sis, wala nang ibang nakabalandra kundi ang impeachment sa VP.
Because I also
wala
think
bang,
they're
distraction? Dahil
they're trying to distract. Also, they really have to take Inday out of the running because si Inday lang ang magpapapanagot sa kanila. Wala nang iba. The rest, the others will be arreglo, but it's only Inday. And they know that. They know that itong mga magnanakaw na yan, alam nila, pag si Inday na naging president at magiging president siya, talagang hihima sila ng rehas. At alam nila yan, So, alam din ni Bangag yan, nakasama siya doon. So, they're doing everything, It's an existential thing,
yun, of course, malinaw yan sa atin. Ang ano ko lang doon, parang, itong, aside from the fact that they want Inday out, I think it's also one way of distracting the people from the real problems of the country. Kasi the country is really facing a lot of things. Like for example, ang investment environment mo going down. The mere fact that the peso is higher, the peso is weaker than the dollar, ibig sabihin that's not really good when you talk about investment. Corruption index mo is higher. Siguro number 3 tayo sa ASEAN when you talk about corruption in terms of rank from top. And so,
but Marcos is not Bangag is not worried. He said at least we're number 3, we're not number 1. That's the kind of problem that we're having.
That's the kind of mentality that he has. Na para bang, sir, pwede ba? Or excuse me, Mr. President, number 3 po tayo. Understandable yung number 1 and number 2 because they're still like kumbaga new republics pa lang yan eh. They're on the process of strengthening their politics and their governance. Kasi, like for example, Cambodia is like 28 years of existence as a republic?
Yeah.
I mean, they're still honing and they're still strengthening their government and their political system. And what about the Philippines? How long? Diba? Parang,
I have a question.
That's not a comparative.
Anna, and what makes it worse, am I correct? Is that this dismal corruption index that shows that we're the top 3 of the worst.
Top 3, top 4, I think.
And also the 62 peso dollar rate, dollar peso, it's directly connected to the corruption of Bongbong Marcos, correct? Yan ang masaklap.
Yes, I would say yes. And also, ito pa ang worst. Okay, napag-usapan na rin natin yung corruption, ha? Okay. Siya mismo, namin ni BBM na may corruption, ang flood control. Nagtayo siya ng ICI para daw imbestigahan. Tapos, nagkaroon ng Senate hearing on that. And then, marami pang etchiboreche na ginagawa ang DOJ on this. Ang tanong ko sa'yo, anong resulta talaga? May resulta ba? Isang taon na natin pinag-uusapan yung flood control. Ang pinag-uusapan natin, sister, flood control pa lang. That's DPWH pa lang na agency. Wala pa dyan ang agriculture, ang smuggling mo. Diyos ko, kung pwede ko lang. In a matter of time, I will write something about this smuggling on irrigation and agriculture. Mayroon lang ako tinatapos right now. On the other hand, mayroon kang iba pang mga agency na hindi natatouch when you talk about corruption. Ang tanong ko sa'yo, may resulta ba itong mga to? May napakulong ba sila? Or they're using this issue also to pressure some politician, especially when in relation to the impeachment. If in any case, there will be a trial in the Senate. Alam mo yun? Parang, ang dami niyong etchebureche sa corruption na sinasabi niyo, pero at the end of the day, wala kayong nagagawa to resolve really the corruption in your own government. Kasi ang Senate walang, ano bang sinabi ni Ping Lacson? Ano ba ang resulta ng kanyang Senate investigation? Wala.
Because Ping also got a maleta. Diba? They're all, in other words, the government has become a criminal syndicate where
Precisely.
they're covering up for each other. More so for the mastermind, Bongbong Marcos. Diba?
Nasabi mo, ito lang, simple lang. Martin Romualdez came out with a video, di ba? And it was, to be frank with you, it's a very savvy, politically savvy video. But if you dissect Martin Romualdez revelation or what you call video whatsoever, iisa lang ang pinupunto ni Martin Romualdez eh. If you're asking me about corruption, Martin Romualdez saying, you have to understand that there's such a thing as implementation. Asan yun? Isa lang yung pinupunto niya, it's in the executive level. Eh, sino ba ang nasa executive? Di ba? Sino ba ang head ng executive? Di ba?
But Martin, of course, is a liar.
Of
Because
course,
he
I mean,
was also
so-
part of the execution. He was also, he dipped his hands there also. Okay, so he's also lying. No?
Wala naman, it's not about saying na Martin Romualdez is not part of it. Because definitely everyone in this in the Philippines.
That's so funny. What an understatement. Hindi naman sa innocent siya.
Hindi naman sa innocent siya talaga kasi hindi naman, 'di ba? Pero what I'm saying is even him, kasi nagkakagulo na ata sila. Madali lang may i-dissect yung sinasabi niya eh. Kung gusto niyo, kumbaga, kung ako guguho, di gumuho na kung sino talaga ang dapat gumuho din.
Also, no, Professor Ana, plunder charges were filed against Martin Romualdez using the testimonies of Gutesa and the 18 soldiers, di ba? But the 18 soldiers and Gutesa named BBM. So if you're just charging Martin and you're not charging Bangag, you're covering up. You're part of the cover-up. You're covering up for Bangag, okay? And I don't buy it eh. I really don't buy it. And it's just a huge... Because all of them in Congress, they're fighting for their lives. Ito mga magnanakaw, di ba? That's why they're like that with Inday, di ba? They're fighting for their lives, no? Kasi when Inday becomes president, lagot sila. But no one is fighting for his life more than Bangag. So he's doing all of this distraction, di ba? He's doing all of this distraction, no? Because kailangan niya umabot ng 2028 kasi he's in danger of being... People are screaming for his head right now, pero ang kapal ng mukha, hindi bumababa, di ba?
Hindi talaga siya bababa.
So for me, all of that is a play. Kasi I'm the kind of person that that likes to learn my lesson, di ba? So, and what has this person taught us? What has the team of Marcos taught us? Number one, that they steal. Number two, that they lie. They violate laws with impunity. So, they're not, I'd be really stupid if I believe all of this, di ba? And I don't like to be stupid.
But what I'm saying is, if you really put it together, itong mga whatever destruction or kahit na mga revelation ng sarili-sarili nila, magkakasama naman yan eh. Kasama yan sila eh. Isa lang naman yan eh. Diba? Alam naman natin yun. Pero what I'm saying is, isa lang, kung may i-blame ka sa lahat ng nangyayari, doon ka sa puno.
Of course. Yeah.
Diba? Sino ba ang puno dyan? Sino ba ang ulo ng lahat? Eh, di ba ganun lang yun kasimple? Kasi ang issue kasi dyan is command responsibility.
Yes. Yeah.
That's really the case. It's the command responsibility, may it be in corruption cases, may it be in the economy, may it be how you respond to the energy crisis in the Philippines. It all boils down to one thing. It's who is on the top. And if on the top, the person on the top hindi makasolve nito, better for you to, di ba, step down. Pero hindi naman nila gagawin yun. Alam natin, you and I, at karamihan ng mga Pilipino, alam natin hindi. They will stay in power. And problema pa dyan, sis, hindi lang staying in power, even staying longer than necessary.
Beyond, definitely
Yun
that's
yung
the game
problema.
plan. Hindi sila bababa, no?
Yun ang problema, sis. So, saan ka? Ang tanong ko
Problema
sa'yo,
nila
sis,
yun. Dahil magiging problema nila ang Pilipino. Lagot sila, mas marami tayo.
at saka, ang ano lang doon, imagine the crisis that we have, economic-wise, okay?
Yeah.
Political-wise, foreign policy-wise. If
Yeah.
if the same people will stay in power beyond necessary, meaning beyond 2028, anong klaseng Pilipinas ang kainan? Ano na mangyayari sa Pilipinas, really?
Yeah. Sister Annabel, I have a question. This is right talaga, you're right on your alley talaga. One of the things that I think that there's distracting us with, from is the EDCA. How many the hectares? How many?
4,000
Could you
acres
tell
of
us what
land.
it is again? Give a brief background.
Oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah.
4,000 acres or hectares? Hectares, sister, ang pinag-uusapan, ha? Hindi
Yeah.
ito yung ano lang. Ganito kalaki. At ito ang sinasabi nila na gagawin daw ng United States na economic security zone. You forget about the economic part kasi hindi yan economic, sister. At mga kababayan, security zone. Okay? Ang unang question dyan is ganito. 2 years for free. 2 years, for free. Ibig sabihin, hindi sila magbabayad, sister, for 4,000 hectares of land na gagamitin nila sa Pilipinas, sa mga Amerikano. Libre. Ang tanong ko, papayag ka bang libre yan? Bakit kailangan maging libre yan? Ang question dyan, Mr. President, talaga bang libre yan? Papayag ka? That's crazy.
Alam mo, for one, wait, 2 seconds nga.
Mm.
You know what I think the exchange is? For him to stay in power.
Of course, the mga Americans backing him up. Not
Yeah.
only him. Actually, the Americans are moving against the Duterte and talking to certain politicians in the Philippines, especially may kinalaman din dyan sa impeachment. Ako kung pwede lang ako magsalita ng lahat-lahat, ng alam ko pero hindi ngayon. May tagatapos pa ako tapusin ko lang yun.
Okay.
Pangalawa is libre, no? 2,000. Libre ang land rent for 2 years daw. Second is, when you talk about this, may issue yan ng sovereignty. Because yung 400 hectares of land will be administered by the Americans. Ang tanong, tayo bang may control dyan o wala? Because if we don't have control over this, then it's an issue of sovereignty. It's in our land, but yet we cannot control it. And they will control it. Ang tanong, ganito na ba talaga tayo na-reduce? Wala na ba tayong kahihiyan? Wala na ba tayong dignidad na pati ba naman, na i-compromise mo ang sovereignty mo para lang magstay sa power, para lang i-back up si Marcos Jr. to be in power more than necessary? Ganito na ba talaga kapalan ng mukha na ito, sister,
Yeah.
Hindi, usapin na to ng soberenya ng bansa mo Ibig sabihin, wala kang you don't have independence at ano nangyari sa history ng Pilipinas na pinaglaban mo ang soberenya mo mulang 1850, kopong-kopong panahon ni Rizal, panahon ni Bonifacio, panahon ng Second World War until now. So, babalik ka dun sa issue ng na magiging tawag nito, a colonial state still in the 21st century?
Grabe, no? What a tragedy, no?
Oo, in exchange for what? In exchange for him to stay in power, in exchange for him to be backed up by the United States para maging stable ang kanyang 2 years in office? My God.
so that he can steal more from the Filipino people.
Yeah, my God.
So that he
Anong
can
klaseng
destroy
Pilipino
our
ka, diba?
institutions even more, di ba?
And then another thing, since it's a security hub, ang tingin ko dyan, yan, nag-start na, ammunition factory, naval assets ng Amerikano, pwede din pumunta dyan. At saka kung ano-ano pang mga security possible na mga related defense and military businesses na pwedeng pumasok dyan sa so-called economic security zone na nakokontrolin ng Amerikano. Ang tanong, when you talk about regional security, when you talk about other countries, ano ang kanilang mafe-feel? And when you talk about China being an perceived competitor ng United States, anong tingin nila sa Pilipinas? Diba? And one more thing. And last thing, sister, kapag ang isang bansa masyadong minimilitarize at may mga ganitong mga initiative coming from a declining superpower, there is something, may ano yan, may quote unquote, may ano yan may futuristic na papupuntahan yan. Ibig sabihin, this declining superpower is preparing for something in a matter of time as against to another rising power in the region.
So you're saying that Bangag has placed the entire country in danger?
Of course. That I can tell you, yes. Yes.
Why?
Yes, because we cannot deny the fact that the United States and China are a competitor. The US will not go down in history would decline without a fight. And one way the US usually do its fight is not just about economic, it's all about military. So marami na geopolitical science, international relations expert, security expert, diba? Matagal na natin pinag-uusapan na maybe in the future there will be a confrontation between these two, not necessarily economically only but militarily, over probably Taiwan or over about the South China Sea. So anong ginagawa nila sa Pilipinas? Ginagawa tayong living what? Military
base.
Not only military base, parang ano ka na, military supply chain.
Para
The supply chain ng Amerika is ililipat nila sa Pilipinas.
So I'm saying why I said military base is that they're pretending it's not a military base, di ba? What bullshit did they say it was? It was a
economic security hub that will generate economic incentives for the Philippines that will create daw jobs. Ano yung jobs para
tayo
sa
pa magpapasalamat sa kanila.
Magpasalamat daw tayo
kasi itong mga Amerikanong to. No?
Hindi lang yung Amerikano kasi ang ganito kasi yung sister. Americans, we are expecting them to be like this.
Yeah, correct. That's true.
We know that already. It's in history. Wherever you go in this world, you go to the Middle East, you go to Latin America, you go to certain parts of the world. We know that the United States is like that, and they will do that for their own interest, strategic interest. Now the question is, why in the hell Marcos Jr. is allowing this? Why do you allow this? Precisely because you want to stay in power? Or you want to be what? To exploit more the country for your own benefit? And what the hell is wrong with you? And ano ka bang klaseng Pinoy? Pilipino ka ba talaga o Amerikano ka? Yan ang tanong ko sa kanya.
I think kasi we're asking the impossible from someone who's fully incapable to lead the country, because he's a drug addict, diba? And you were talking about the sovereign. I think I call him a drug addict because that's what he is. Kasi in the real world, if you refuse a hair follicle drug test, the presumption is that you're positive for drugs, kaya ayaw mo, and you're not hired and you're fired, diba? So yung sovereignty na sinasabi mo, you talked about history, ganyan, but in the recent times lang, he surrendered a Filipino citizen to a foreign country. PRRD, right?
That's
so
really
sa madaling salita, this Bongbong Marcos has no idea what sovereignty is, has no respect for it, and how can he when he has an illness that's very serious, diba? Very serious illness. So, and then on top of that, all of these things that he's doing, he cannot do alone eh. So there are people who are propping him up, no? Marami na nakikinabang sa kanya at this point.
Kasi marami din siyang mga, alam mo, sister, itong issue na to, 4,000 hectares and all other issues
Yeah,
related to the militarization of the Philippines by the Americans being allowed by this government of Bongbong Marcos is actually a violation of public trust.
Yeah.
Because the president's...
Bawal din sa Constitution yan, paglabag sa...
Hindi,
Sister, I'm sorry, paglabag din sa ligang batas natin yan.
Precisely. So
Okay,
it's,
go ahead, go
a
ahead. I'm sorry,
violation
I
of public
interrupted.
trust.
Yeah.
The president's primary job is to uphold the Constitution and to protect the sovereignty of the country. Now, if you cannot protect the sovereignty of the country and you cannot uphold the Constitution, you're violating the public trust entrusted to you by the Filipino people. So actually, it's kung impeachment na pag-uusapan, that's impeachable offense.
Yeah.
Pero who will impeach him? No one, because he controls the Congress and even to a certain extent the Senate. That's the irony of it all. Now, how come you have a president who cannot even protect the basic job and the basic responsibility that he needs to uphold? Imagine that.
Wait there. Here, can I move a little bit, ha? Kasi, but it's also connected. Kasi he's now the Philippines, the chairmanship of the ASEAN, di ba?
Yeah.
And I was thinking kasi, how can you be, it's such an embarrassment because the concerns of the ASEAN as a region, major failure si Bongbong Marcos, di ba? Like the handling of the Middle East crisis, the security of our region. Could you talk about that a little bit more?
Okay. Kasi may ASEAN summit soon, sister.
Yeah,
I think it
yeah.
will be in Cebu around May 8 or so.
2 seconds, 2 seconds.
Oo.
Kasi we were also chair of the
Yeah.
ASEAN during PRRD's time. And I am so shocked at what I am seeing. It's really, they really do not know what they are doing. It's really run like a sari-sari store. Talagang yung pagwaldas na naman sa pera, kasi merong malaking pera sa ASEAN eh. Ayan na naman, and they don't know where to put it. And it's just ghastly watching it. It's like a freak show. They have no idea how to do the ASEAN. Walang alam.
Ang ano kasi dyan, ang chairmanship, supposedly kasi, ang pagkakaroon ng chairmanship sa
Yeah.
ASEAN, pag ikaw ang nag-host, ikaw ang chairman, that adds prestige to your country. Kasi syempre, ikaw yung host, ikaw yung may upper hand, what issues to discuss. But ang question lagi ngayon sa region, given everything that's going on in the Philippines domestically, ang gulo-gulo. Ang gulo talaga ng Pilipinas when you talk about domestic politics.
Yeah.
And everyone in the region, they know that.
Right.
Lahat ng nangyayari sa Pilipinas, nare-report. Alam mo ba, even dito sa China, nare-report yan. May translation lang in Chinese. Pati mga video ng hearing ng...
yeah, kahit dito.
Nare-report na para bang, oh my God, hindi... Ay, sabi ko, oh my God, nakakahiya. Pero wala tayong magagawa kasi gano'n na nangyayari. Pero when you talk about ASEAN chairmanship, una, ang tanong kasi dyan lagi is the credibility of the current administration. Ano yung moral ascendancy mo to even be the chair and to convene the ASEAN summit on issues that has something to do with, first and foremost, oil or energy security. Second is migrant issues, migrant workers. And the third one is food security. Ito yun eh. Kasi ito yung tatlong issues na lumulutang ngayon sa ASEAN level na very important among ASEAN
Security
members.
of the region also.
And
Oh.
and actually that's what you call security when you talk about geopolitics and when you talk about military and defense. Yung
Question. Has
And sa
Bongbong
alternative.
Marcos, has Bongbong Marcos, has he made the region more dangerous, not just for the Philippines, but for the
for the
entire
whole region
ASEAN?
and the ASEAN and even wider in the Indo.
Yeah, wider.
Actually,
Why and how, Prof?
yeah, yun yung kailangan maintindihan din ni BBM kasi
Nako po.
actually
Kaya
hindi ko
yun.
alam kung maintindihan niya. Actually, in his administration, the region becomes more, alam mo yun, the Philippines in relation to ASEAN and even beyond ASEAN, mas nagkakaroon ng anxiety. Kasi ang foreign policy niya is not balanced. Second, maraming nangyayari sa Pilipinas na kung saan ang mga regional states mo or regional countries mo are asking question, bakit ang Pilipinas doing unilateral actions? Like for example, itong 4,000 hectares of so-called economic security hub. Questionably yan sa regional countries mo. Why would the Philippines allow that? And that's a unilateral action without consultation sa regional countries. Kasi kapag nangyari yan, ang impact niyan is ang ang hindi lang naman ang Pilipinas pati ang regional level. Ang like for example, EDCA sites from 5 naging 9. That's a big issue kasi you make the region kumbaga volatile in every possible way. So nagre-react ang regional countries mo. Why the Philippines is doing this? They don't even consult ASEAN member states. On this, they're part of the ASEAN. Kasi pag nagkasalpukan sa Indo-Pacific, and also it provoke other country to, like for example, a deployment of Typhoon missile system in the country by the United States. It provokes other countries also to rearm. So nagkakaroon ka ng anxiety, ang security situation mo naging volatile, nagkakaroon ka ng tinatawag security dilemma. So actually, ang foreign policy ni Marcos Jr. is not something that is actually widely welcome, or more would I say actually criticized heavily by regional countries, hindi lang ng ASEAN but even beyond ASEAN. Kaya lang hindi lang maingay ang Asian countries or ASEAN countries in terms of criticism. Pero if you listen to them in conferences, in private talks, you will hear na ano bang nangyayari sa Pilipinas, bakit ba ganito ang policy ng current administration ng BBM. It happens. It's come on, give me a break. I attend many conferences as being invited na may mga private conversation na maririnig mo yan, and I'm being asked about this. Na para bang sinasabi nila na imbis na maging how do you call that, secured ang region, ang nangyayari, nagiging more insecure ang region because you have one member na inaalaw niya yung country niya to be used by a superpower, na kung saan itong superpower may sariling agenda that is not good for the region. So yun yung doon. So nagiging inaalaw ni BBM na ang bansa mo will be used as an instrument of insecurity, the regional insecurity. Kaya ang perception sa Pilipinas, to be frank, sister, under a Marcos Jr. administration is some people would say troublemaker tayo, some people would say na napaka-imbalance ng foreign policy, some people would say na napaka-unwise. Marami yung mga term na ginagamit to describe the Philippines when you talk about security issues. Na minsan nakakahiya, to be frank.
Yeah, I was going to say that kasi I remember during PRRD's time, because that was right after he berated Obama, di ba? The US.
Gustong-gusto ko yun.
So, yeah, so when he would go to the ASEAN events, para siyang rock star. He was seen as by the ASEAN leaders as a rock star because the ASEAN, di ba, ang common history natin ay nasakop tayong lahat
yung colonization,
mga colonial masters, di ba? So he really stood up and said, "F you, Obama," di ba? So and then now look at that, so, because nga in other words, what's common with the ASEAN nations is their high regard for sovereignty. Diba?
Yes, definitely.
Walang pakialamanan ang ASEAN.
Non-interference nga, di ba? One of the basic tenets of ASEAN is non-interference, meaning you don't interfere in our domestic affairs, in our sovereign affairs. Pero sa Pilipinas, open parang tawag siya, sister, sa Amerikano, wide open ang Pilipinas na walang limits.
No, and during his speech in the ASEAN, he was goading the other ASEAN nations to go against China. Very blatantly.
Na para bang napaka-unwise.
Napahiya nga siya sa speech ni correct. He said, ibag nyo kaming isali dyan, kaibigan kami ng China.
Hindi kasi kung ang problema mo, wag mo kaming isali. Yun sinabi ni Anwar, di ba? So, napaka-unwise. At saka, ang problema din when you talk about these things of foreign policy, napaka-unwise ng administration ni BBM in a sense na hindi niya alam paano ipwesto ng mabuti ang Pilipinas.
Wala siyang alam. Wala siyang alam kahit na dahil hindi naman siya tumakbo para magsilbi at alamin yung trabaho niya kung hindi ay magnakaw sa Pilipino. Yun lang, at tumagal sa pwesto. Yun lang ang agenda niya.
It's all about power, no? It's all about power. It's all about personal incentives. It's all about protecting their own personal interests. So, alam mo, sister, nakakaano tawag nito, nakaka-sad lang kasi ang
Yeah.
Pilipinas naging ano na siya eh. Ang politika natin is ano na eh, parang extension ng family nila.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kahit an extension, parang kumbaga sa ano, extension ng sala nila ang buong Pilipinas. Alam mo
In
yun?
other words, they think that they own the country.
Yeah, something to that effect, you know?
Oh,
They
yeah.
can,
All of them, they're in Timbangag. That's why they don't care about laws of the land and the constitution. They have arrogated the law unto themselves. Ganyan ang tingin nila sa sarili nila. Pero I can already sense, sister, no, that the tide has turned. Nakikita ko na natatakot kasi dumalapit na tayo sa 2028 at hindi mo na mapipigilan ang Duterte presidency. Hindi na. Nakikita ko. Galit na ang tao. At alam natin yon, di ba, na ang kapangyarihan ay talagang nanggagaling sa taong bayan.
yes, we are a democracy. If we really is a democracy, dapat ipakita ng mga Pilipino na ang totoong kapangyarihan nasa kamay ng mga Pilipino, hindi nasa kamay ng mga politiko. My God! I mean, pero sana naman, sister, I mean, alam natin parehas na mayroon din kailangan baguhin sa mga Pilipino.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alam natin yan na sana naman, no? I mean, ako kasi, sister, malinaw ang ano ko, posisyon ko sa mga bagay-bagay. Sa akin, unahin mo muna ang Pilipinas, kung anong ikabubuti ng Pilipinas. Lahat yan magfo-fall into place. Even when you talk about kung sino ang dapat manalo at umupo bilang presidente sa susunod na eleksyon. Kasi kung uunahin mo ang politika, you will get confused eh. As a Filipino. Pero kung titignan mo lang yung Pilipinas, what you think is good for the country, really, genuinely speaking, then you will be guided kung sino ang pwede mong ilagay dun sa mga posisyon na, you know, elected position. At darating na tayo dun kasi 2026 na, sister. Tapos na ang April, May na, ang bilis ng panahon. By the end of this year, politika na yan, lahat. Kasi in preparation for 2028. 2027 is the whole year of it. Puro politika na yan eh.
But you
Sa
know,
akin lang,
mm,
kasi ngayon talaga, wala akong nakikita sa Pilipinas sis, from outside, kasi both of us are not in the country at the moment. So, mas malinaw mas madali kasing, alam mo, kapag medyo may distance ka, makikita mo yung buong landscape eh. Na detach ka, alam mo, there's a certain level of detachment. Makikita mo, ma-analyze mo. From my perspective and vantage point talaga, ang nakikita ko sa Pilipinas, lahat ng pinag-uusapan at lahat ng mga dynamics is all politics. Walang bibihira ang tumitingin kung ano na ba talaga ang state of affairs ng Pilipinas in terms of its domestic politics, in terms of its economy, in terms of its relation with the rest of the world and relation with the region. Lahat, it's all about power, it's all about politics, and it's all about who controls the money, who controls the power. Eh, para bang, ganito na ba talaga tayo?
you know why? You know why?
Reduced to be like
have
this?
a wildly incompetent president who's surrounded by wildly incompetent people. So they only stick to politics, but that's the only thing they know. And unfortunately, it's rotten politics. These are politicians.
Rotten.
The politicians that surround him, who are in his team, were voted into office by buying votes or threatening, but they don't really know, because I served under PRRD, so I saw how good he was. Talagang yung competence niya kakaiba, 'di ba, sister? So iba talaga si Duterte. Itong mga ito, no, ito mga second, third generation politicians, walang alam niya mga yan kung hindi bumili ng boto. So for them, once they get into power, all they do is politics, power play, and to stay as long in power as possible instead of serving the people, because they don't know shit about that. Wala silang kaalam-alam how to serve the Filipino people. So you were saying kanina, di ba, it's all politics in the Philippines, and in the meantime, yung pinaka nakakaawa yung mga kababayan natin, because that 62 to $1
my God,
impacts their lives, right?
Yeah.
Impacts
Sila yung una dyan eh.
yeah. We only have a few minutes, so in closing lang at Professor Ana.
In closing, what I'm saying is, at this time, we know the realities of the country, may it be in the economy, may it be in politics, may it be in foreign policy. Ang sa akin lang sana, dumating tayo sa point na let's do away with the old politics and this trap of politicians, no? The reality is we need a new breed of leadership. We need fresh, young, and more, alam mo yun, more competent na mga susunod na mga leaders ng bansa. Hindi yung iwasan na natin yung mga tulad nitong mga nakikita natin sa Kongreso, nandyan sa posisyon ngayon. Wala tayong pag-asa dyan eh. Ang ano ko lang sa mga Pilipino, di sana yung realization ba, mag-sink in talaga na makita nila na there's really a need for a change. And the change na, genuine change rooted dun sa root causes ng problema ng Pilipinas. And I would say na lahat ito has something to do with the kind of politics that we have, because governance is all about politics and everything is related to it, especially when you talk about economy. Ano yan eh, connected yan eh. Hindi mo pwedeng paghiwalayan yan. So sa akin lang na realization sana ng mga Pilipino, lahat ng nangyayari sa Pilipinas within Marcos administration, lessons learned ba? Kasi ang problema ng Pilipino ngayon, galit sila, tapos mamaya pagdating ng election, same people pa rin ang iboboto nila. Sana naman wag lang ganun, sister. Nakakapagod, sister. I'm not kidding. Hindi ako napapagod na mag-educate sa ating mga kababayan in my own capacity, pero what I'm saying is, until when? Until when natin makakayanan baguhin at alam mo yun, yung sariling initiative ba na we will be united as a country really to focus on changing the country into something better. Kasi ang sinasabi ko lang dito, in a matter of time, mapag-iwanan talaga tayo. I'm not kidding.
Napag-iwanan na tayo, ano ka ba?
Hindi ko naman totally. I mean, kung sa ASEAN level, number 6 tayo. Hindi. Sa ranking, number 6 na tayo, number 7. Pero meron pang 3 country. Ang masakit sa akin, kung makita natin na sa bottom na talaga. As in, napag-iwanan na tayo, 60%, yes. May 40% ka pang margin, pero mahirap sis kung nag-zero ka na. Nung nandun ka na sa bottom, na ang Myanmar mas mataas pa sa atin. My God! Hindi ko na kaya yun, sis.
So that's why for me, it has become untenable. Marcos has to step down right
Hindi
now.
na, sis eh.
He has to step down now. He's not gonna step down, but
Yeah,
he's not gonna
not.
step down. But things have to happen so that he will be forced to step down because he's no longer every second